What's up, everybody? How you doing? How are you doing? So, we're doing something new today. I'm sorry. As you know, I know a few people are enjoying my last review on the Grim Adventure of Billy Man. I'm talking about Who Killed Who. So I'm like, which other one should I do? And I realized, wait, does anybody still remember my gym partner as a monkey? So I checked around, and yeah, they did had a Halloween special. And I realized when I checked when it was aired, it's actually pretty funny. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on It's the Scary Old Custodian, Adam Lyon, which, if you don't know what's the title, is like a homage to It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which is obvious. And this was their 15th episode for season 1 back in 2006. And this was aired in April 7th. Yeah. A Halloween special aired in April. At first, I remember I seen this episode, like, oh, was it October? October is April. Like, wait, what? Yeah. But we're getting a bit of ahead of ourselves here. If you're new to the channel here, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video, and let's go ape. So yeah, it's the Scary Old Custodian, Adam Lyon, and damn, I haven't seen my gym partner as a monkey in years, and this was one of these new shows back in the day, like in 2006, like this, Squirrel Boy. I can't remember what other. I think it was another like a hybrid animated live action one called Reanimated. I think you might recall. Some kid got hit by a train at a theme park, and he gets the brain of a famous cartoonist, and the cartoonist's son, who's the main antagonist, try to get the brain so he can become a great genius. They did like a pilot movie for it, then a show. I think they also have a Halloween special as well. I gotta check that out. Golly, that was the name of their version of Mickey Mouse. But we're talking about my gym partner's a monkey here, so let's go. So yeah, this might be an interesting episode because, first of all, if you're not like from the time, I'll explain. So my gym partner's a monkey is about a human named Adam Lyon who's switched schools because to an animal middle school because his last name is Lyon. Not like Lion, is with Lyon. But due to a typo, they switched him to Charles Darwin Middle School, which, yeah. Named after the famous, the guy who tried about, the mystery of life and that. Yeah, that guy. And also, this is our first Halloween special. I don't know if this is their only, but yeah, let's continue here. So, we see Adam here dressed as a pirate for Halloween, which is pretty cool. But in Charles Darwin Middle School, there's a different meaning for the word Halloween. They howl, like literally howl, like growls, caws, that. Which is pretty funny, actually. Oh boy. Which, yeah. They don't call it Halloween, they call it Howloween with it. HOWLOWEEN. Like that. But yeah, of course. I kind of like, there was a scene where when Adam meets with his two friends, Jake and the gorilla. What was his name? Shit. Windsor. Who's more like, kind of like the brains. Let's just say when Jake sees the pirate outfit, and of course, the fake parrot, which Jay calls it, replaced his best friend, which of course, guess what he does? He fights with the parrot and rips it off his costume, which is attached to it. Of course, they're talking about the blouse and that. Jake just pretends to be a parrot. He flaps his arms and lands on Adam's shoulder like a bird, which is actually pretty funny. Which, of course, Adam's getting a bit annoyed of all the howling, which, of course. Eventually, Principal Pixie Frog announces over the loudspeaker that he needs a student to go down to the nearly silent boiler room to retrieve a file for him, which, of course, Adam immediately volunteers because, hey, listen, would you stand a bunch of animals howling even you're in a middle school full of animals? Huh? I wouldn't blame him. Of course, Adam volunteers quickly, and of course, Jake, remember, he's being a parrot, so of course, he goes down the boiler room. As they climb down the stairs, one of the steps breaks, but Jake manages to save Adam before he falls, and Jake is, rather surprisingly, flying. But when he starts flapping his arms, he falls to the floor, face first, like usual. As they're walking through the boiler room, trying to look for the file cabinet, but Adam ends up losing Jake. How do you lose a spider monkey? I have no idea. At first, Adam thinks Jake's trying to scare him, but Adam gets super freaked out and starts running, and ends up running into the filing cabinet. And of course, also ripping his pirate blouse shirt. Jake pops out of one of the drawers and reveals that he found the file Pixie Frog was looking for. Then the boys hear a noise and see an elderly man in a custodian uniform, which of course he introduces himself as Old Joe, which is the CDMS custodian. Which of course, to Adam's surprise, there was another human at Charles Darwin Middle School, which is an all-animal school, and Ojo explains that he's been working at the school ever since it was originally a school for humans. Which, that is a mystery right there. How the hell this school... This is an explanation here that how the hell this school that was once for humans became a school for animals. That's a mystery right there. We never get explained. We never get a clue. We do not know. No where or but. But of course, Adam and Jake try to leave, but old Joe tells them that he wants to tell them a scary story, which of course, he tells the story of the haunted locker. Which of course, the two sit down and listen to the story. Which old Joe tells two students who are very similar, like Adam and Jake, are walking down their school hallway. Sorry. But when they get to the locker, they hear strange noises coming out of it. The boys are scared, but they have to open the locker because their books are in it, which, yeah. I never had lockers when I was in middle school or high school. Remember, this is Puerto Rico, so we don't have that. Except the gym. That's it. We carry all our shit in backpacks. Always. But of course, sorry, I'm getting distracted lately, but let's continue here. The bell rings for class, and one of the boys slowly turns to the combination on the lock, and when the door opens, the rotting corpse of the school principal fell out. Old Joe expects Adam and Jake to be scared, but of course, they're not. He doesn't get why they don't find the corpse scary, which of course Adam explains it's not that corpses aren't scary, there just wasn't any build-up to a story. Like every ghost story has a build-up, like the slow intensity, the fear of what's going on, something about to happen, nothing. Of course, Joe tells him another story. This time, a teen couple make it out on Lover's Lane, which is a reference to the famous urban legend, The Hook. And also, another story which any of you remembers reading, I don't know, it's from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, let's continue, shall we? Which, of course, Adam and Jake have already heard the story, which everybody has heard the story. Then Joe tries to tell another one about a soda bottle with a dead mouse in it. But Jake had heard about it, which I think it was a quote saying the lady sued the cola company and got millions of dollars. I know him, old Joe. Just bring him on. Which Jake says. Joe tries to tell him various other scary stories like hook hand, fork tongue, claw toe, donut head, can of beans for a brain. But of course, Adam Jake already heard those stories, which, wow. Well, I don't expect because remember, this was predating the internet, and this is 2006, so this is like predates social media, so that's how. Of course, everybody checks your local internet about famous ghost stories. Old Joe tries the last attempt to scare Adam Jake, which is, guess what he does? Joe sits on a chair, and suddenly, his head and all his limbs fall off his body. Surprisingly, Adam and Jake still aren't scared. Until Principal Pixie Frog pops out of the torso of old Joe, which is actually going to say, "Oh, come on! You're not even scared of that!" Which, out of nowhere, it actually scared Adam and Jake, which, the boys, it was when they see their principal, which of course, they totally freak out and run up the stairs to the main floor of the school, which, the boy, okay, that's just weird and funny. Oh, the bar part didn't scare him, but your principal does. But of course, Principal Pixie Frog, with the help of his secretary, Miss Warthog, is glad that he finally able to scare Adam and Jake, but suddenly he hears noises and gets scared, which turns out to be the real ghost of old Joe, who starts sweeping up the limbs that have fallen from the costume, which, okay, let's confirm it's an actual ghost in Charles Darwin Middle School. That is nuts. Like, that is nuts. But yeah, that's just crazy. There were a lot of things about this reference. Like, remember, this episode, this Halloween special is the first holiday episode in the series. And also, like I said, the title is like a homage to the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. There were like a couple of running gags here as well, like people calling Adam's pirate shirt a blouse, which technically it is back in the day, because you know it's from the 1700s. Pirate, well, technically I don't recall pirates wearing blouses. I think that's from mostly theaters or movies. Okay, Adam's animal schoolmates loud howling because of, it's not Halloween, it's Halloween. Of course, and also Jake commented on old Joe's breath. Even after old Joe's head falls off and rolled by him and Adam, Jake said, well, it can't be a stomach related because his breath still stinks. Which, I forgot about that. Jesus Christ. And of course, we have the ghost of the real old Joe starts sweeping up the rooms of Principal Pixie Frog's and Miss Warhol's costume. It can assume that, which is confirmed by old Joe, that the school was originally for humans. But when and why it became an all-animal school still's unknown. But of course, though, it could be possible that Joe did work there, but the school was always for animals, which would have made him the only human working there. Which, remember, zookeeper. And when Pixie Frog dressed as a custodian with Miss Warthog, he was telling the story of the two lovers. Oh, the Love's Lane, and another was the Hook. They were both referred to the urban legend, which, of course, we all know the urban legend. Face it, we always known. Jesus Christ. To tell you the truth, going back to this is pretty cool. And yeah, that's just nuts. And also, it was being faggots used to be an old. Oh yeah, the one thing I did remember is because while I was doing looking for back these episodes, they have photos, stills of all the episodes. I like the artwork when they keep explaining for hook for hand, fork tongue, claw toe, donut head, and can of beans for brains. Which Jesus, the artwork is pretty funny. And of course, the scene where he falls apart, and the real real old Joe, appears, which is actually pretty funny. But I think that'll be it for today. And if you have other recommendations of other Halloween specials from Cartoon Network back in the day, let me know in the comments down below. Because hey, I'm trying to remember which ones I did on and which one I didn't. I'm planning to do another review on Halloween Town, the second film, or just finish the other three, because hey, I already did the first one a couple years back. I gotta finish the other three to make it complete. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun night. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video, and also don't howl. We're not animals here. But fortunately, due to the situations of this current time period, there's some people who are acting like animals. Period. Seriously. Jesus. But until then, have a great day. Have a great night. Stay safe. Peace out. See you next time. Ciao.